Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome back, whether you're a subscriber or a first-time viewer, I'm glad to have you. And I wanted to share with you some cards that I made out of a 6x6 paper pad from Echo Park. It's called Bundle of Joy, and I think you could use this for little kids' birthday cards. There are a lot of patterns in here too that would be great for just seasonal cards. Probably more spring because it's pastel-y, so I'll set it aside and use it for kids' birthday cards or break it out again in the spring. But it has stars in it and I love it, and I needed a couple of birthday cards, or a couple of baby cards. They were in fact quite late. Here I'm just experimenting with the different prints and laying things out, and you'll notice I'm using my circle punch quite a bit. Some people, punches are heavy, they're not inexpensive, and they take up a lot of room to store, but I really like to have circle punches around because I like to layer them. I use them for flowers. I use them to put my sentiments on. So circle punches I have. I don't know that I have, and I have one star. Here I have already white heat embossed the congratulations sentiments and the love and hugs. I knew that I was going to make a couple of cards with this set. I just wasn't exactly sure what I was going to make. So I did my heat embossing all at once. That adhesive ran out. We're getting a new one. If you're not familiar with heat embossing, I do have a video on that, so you can go back and watch it. You melt powder and it gives it some nice texture. And here I'm just setting up for more than one card at a time. I have a tendency when I'm crafting to just make one thing at a time and think not assembly line. So you might want to think, if you have, like I needed at least 2 baby cards for sure. I have 2 cousins with babies on the way, so that I had to get those going. So anyway, just think about whether you can find some efficiencies and do your heat embossing at the same time. In a perfect world, I would write down measurements and plan and cut the papers, but I don't operate in a perfect world, and I change my mind a lot. I'm trying to get as much pattern on this card as I can so that it's fun, but not so much that it's dizzying. Experimenting with the layout and the scale of the items on it. And then once I get it figured out, I will add the layers so that the different papers are matted. And you'll see that in just a minute. I'm just experimenting. I really do like that green paper. I just didn't think it was very baby cardish, and it didn't go with the teal at all. I'll use it for something in the future. And here I'm using my Holtz Cutter. I do like this cutter. I'm getting used to it more, and I like it. It does not do 12 by 12 paper. So it's not an all-purpose cutter if you're a scrapbooker or you ever want to buy a 12 by 12 piece of paper. Again, just layering it up. And if I had a circle punch that was just a tiny bit bigger than those, or a tiny smaller, I probably would have layered the circles too, but I don't have quite the right size for that, so I'm just rolling with it. And here I'm cutting the mat to go on those printed papers with the rectangles. If you find that your cards are lacking something, be sure and ask yourself, are you layering? Are you making sure that you are breaking up your patterns, adding a lot of layers? And sometimes it's texture. Add a bit of ribbon or embroidery floss or some bling. Be sure that it's not just flat paper. Lift something up with foam mount. There's a lot of different ways that you can add interest to your card. It doesn't always just come through in videos, because in videos you can't see the texture of the embossing. You don't necessarily see when things are lifted. But be sure that when you're looking at your cards in person, there is some dimension and or texture. Some people like to use textured paper or embossing plates, not heat embossing, but things that give it texture, or crimpers. However you can add texture. Sorry, I got my head in the video quite a bit and had to fix that for you. Okay, so I'm putting this together, and it should come together pretty quick now. I haven't given you a full review on the adhesive gun that I'm using now. I don't know that I love it. It's a little bit big for me. So in this video, I'm using the Xyron, the big purple one. It works very well. It's very consistent. It doesn't jam. It's easy to reload. The things are easily available on Amazon. But I've always used a very small tape runner, so it seems a little too big to me. If you're used to an ATC gun or something like that, it's probably nice because it's a little smaller. But you'll notice when I use it, I don't always hang on to the handle. I hang on to the actual adhesive cartridge part. And that's probably why. It's just a little big and bulky. Here I'm cutting a flag out of Love and Hugs just to draw a little more attention to it and make it not so square down there. Add a little more interest. And I went off camera and put the adhesive on. And there we go. Now, as I glue on the front, there's a trick in here I'd like you to see. I'm going to stand that card up on end. That helps a little bit to make sure that you get everything square so you don't have to worry so much about it being crooked. So I stand both items up on end and then press it down against that glass mat. As long as I cut everything square, at that point it has to be straight. That's a pretty big assumption sometimes though. Okay, now you'll see very often when I'm working, I shuffle the card. I'm lining it up on the glass mat because the mat has a ruler on it, so then I can measure my circles. If you have the Tim Holtz glass mat, be sure that you're using the ruler and that you're looking at things to be sure they're square. Don't just use it as a great surface to work on. If you don't have the glass mat, you could try laying a ruler down or taping a ruler down to the table you're working on, something like that, to help you figure out how to center things and lay them out. It doesn't happen by accident. I mean, if you want things to be centered, then try to measure them. I eyeball a lot of things, but I know that some people, especially when they're starting out, they're struggling more. And if you're not confident and you haven't put together a million cards, that's a way to help, is to be sure you're actually measuring where the center is. So here I'm doing the same thing. I'm kind of centering it, and then I know that there's an inch box right in the middle of the card. And then I look at it and stick it down. With foam mount, once you put it down, it's stuck unless you put adhesive on the back of it and then you can slide it a little. I use so much foam mount that would be a lot of glue and a lot of work. Here I just added some Nuvo drops. In the end, they sort of look just like adhesive dots that I would have put on there, but there's a lot of them in that bottle, so I think it probably comes out more economical. You can vary the size of them, and the trick is to learn. So here on the Happy, I used glossy accents, and then on the dots, I showed you the bottle for the Nuvo drops. This video is sped up 2 times, so keep in mind, I'm not that fast. And I had already assembled this card and put the glossy accents on it, and then realized that I should have put it all together and then put the glossy accents. But I wanted to make sure the glossy accents looked okay, and I really like it. You can't see it very well in the video, but the Happy has white embossing, and then I filled it in with glossy accents, so it sort of held it in the tray and gave it some more interest. So I have different textures and also different products on the front of that card. Now I'm going to start a third card using the same papers, and I wanted to let you know, if you haven't watched my last video, be sure and watch it. I posted it earlier this week, and it's a very cute cat thank you card. Be sure and watch that video all the way to the end this week if you get a chance. I think you'll be happy that you did. So here I'm cutting the mat to put on the front of the card, and I'm just using white card bases on these because I already had them folded, and I like to use white card bases if the paper has a lot of white in it. I think it just gives it another layer on the front. instead of the front of the card being all blue, I have another frame around it in that white edge. So it just adds even more interest. When I look back on the cards that I made in the very beginning, I see that I lacked layers and texture and variety. And I'm sure that when I look at the cards I make years from now, I'll say the same thing about the cards I'm making right now. In this card, I started out thinking I was going to make a scrap card, but I actually didn't have enough scraps because I'd only made 2. So it's not really a scrap card because I'm cutting the pieces. But the idea I had was just to use some of those fun prints across the front and test it out a little bit in strips. I couldn't find ones that I wanted that went together, and then I wanted to use the polka dots. I just kept changing things until I liked it, and be sure that you're comfortable doing that. That's why I don't glue things down right away. And then the polka dot was a little dark, right? It doesn't have a friend. And I couldn't find another paper like it, but I really liked the polka dot. So instead I decided to make this narrower so that I have room for another strip of polka dots. And I'm going to start gluing these down, and I want to talk you through the trick that I did right at the end. And I got lucky, really. I didn't think it through. It just was a little bit intuitive for me, and then it worked perfectly. In these cards, I'm not leaving space between them like I do in my scrap, kind of quilted scrap card videos. If you go back, I have videos on scraps, and I usually leave a space. These, I just butted them right up against the edge, and then I'll put this one down. But then I think about that for a minute. So what I did was I'm lining it up, and then I'm getting my edge framed exactly the way I need it. I used the ruler on the cutting mat to figure out how wide my strip needed to be, and then brought it back. Things are a little bit unsquare, but because the polka dot isn't such a contrast, I decided to glue down the end. So I've already glued the end, and then I'm going to use this polka dot to fill in the space. And it doesn't fit perfectly, but because that edge on the right is straight, you don't notice that. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes it's easier to work from right to left or do both ends and then fill in the middle. We always think left to right, but you don't have to build your cards that way. And here I'm doing the foam mount. I really need to get a roll of foam mount if I'm going to be using a lot of foam mount in videos, because it's painfully slow to do it this way. If you use a roll on your strip, then from a strip you can just peel all the backing off in one shot. You don't have a whole bunch of little tiny ones. I typically buy the little tiny ones because I use them for flowers and leaves and all sorts of things, and right now I don't have a roll. So the reason I didn't center that was I know from experience that if I center that and leave that just the way it was on that card, I would be disappointed that it didn't have more going on. So then I'm adding ribbon. Ribbon seems really great for a baby card too. Washi tape is great to put your ribbon on with because I didn't get it in the right place the first time and it was easy to move it. Had I glued it down, that would have been trickier. And then the extra ribbon and stuff doesn't leave a lump, but I just trim it off. So I have it on there pretty straight, and then I'm tying a bow. Sorry, I went off camera, but I just did like the rabbit ears thing and then straightened it out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take tiny glue dots and I'm going to attach that bow to the ribbon with a glue dot, and then I'm going to stick a glue dot behind the ribbon so that it doesn't move around on the card so much. And this is much easier than trying to tie it in place or something like that. So you put the bow on the glue dot, you pop it off, and these are the minis. I'm going to use the tip. This is an old habit. It's probably not really great for your scissors, but my scissors are Teflon coated, so I use the tip of the scissors to get that glue dot off of there. Then I decided to switch to my quick stick, pick-me-up stick, and then I went out of camera, so I had to cut it out for you anyway, or I put my head in there, but I put the glue dot behind it. Then I realized I missed a spot, so I just touched it up. I don't use as much roller adhesive as some people do, and if something's floppy, I just touch it up with a glue pen or something else. Now here, because I've already put foam mount, sorry, my dog needed some water, I guess. Because I've already put foam mount on the one side, I had to put the adhesive on the card base and then put the card on it, just because I didn't want to smash up that foam mount layer. Now I didn't get it straight. Remember to check in your corners and along your top edge. Your corners help if you watch those because it'll make sure it's in there square. There you go. And at the very end, I'm going to show you still shots of each one of the cards. Then I'm taking my Clear Star gel pen and just adding a little bit of glitter to the various patterns in the paper. If a card lacks a little something, I like to add glitter or use my gel pen, something to jazz up the pattern a little more. Okay, if you like this video, be sure and give me a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Thanks.